Hope this video helps everyone. Fisker released some winter driving tips, and I did a test yesterday where I actually tested all three modes in the winter. So I'm going to provide some what I think is actually valuable information here as I talk about each slide for Fisker. And of course, in the picture there, you know, it's got an ocean driving in the snow, and that's exactly what I did yesterday. Now, my test yesterday was not a range test at all. It was just a performance in the snow with the different types of modes. So here you can see this was my setup yesterday, and this was my driveway, and I was practicing which modes were best for the snow, and it also proved a few things. And I also compared this against our Mazda CX-9, which you can watch that video on my channel. It's recent, so it's pretty good. But for this video, I just want to do a few things since Fisker's talking about range in the snow. So just briefly, Earth mode is front-wheel drive only. There had been some debate about that, but clearly after my test yesterday, under no circumstances could I get the rear wheels to spin or gain any type of traction in Earth mode. So then I went to Fun mode, and of course Fun mode engaged the rear wheels, and Hyper mode did the same. So it was a very fun test. Now on the incline here, which was very steep, I could get the Ocean to spin out with just a traction test. This was not a momentum test. I did not try, you know, to gain momentum and get to the house. I would stop on the hill in the steepest parts. And for the most part, Earth mode would simply spin out most of the time, and the traction control would kick in, and then there you were. As soon as you put it in Fun mode, the rear electric motor would kick in, and off you went, and same thing for Hyper mode. So that was a very good test, and if you're interested in that test, just watch my other video. And if you find these videos helpful, please subscribe. I'm just trying to grow my channel, and like my videos, and that will help the algorithms quite a bit. I do appreciate that. So here Fisker's talking about the weather having an effect on the range of the Fisker Ocean. And if you're new to EVs, that may surprise you. All cars, even gas cars, get less efficiency in cold weather. And if you're interested in everything that Fisker has to say here, you can pause this video and read down, because it's talking about the different testing factors like the WLTP, and that's for Europe, and then the EPA, which is for the United States. So here Fisker goes on to talk about cold weather, and I'm actually just going to read part of this, and I'm going to skip some of it. They say in cold weather, some other factors affect range. First, the battery capacity itself is reduced as the temperature drops. This can be partially offset by intentionally warming the battery. And then they go on to compare this, you know, to a fuel tank, and saying that gets smaller in the cold, and you still get the energy from the fuel during the drive, but there is less fuel in the tank. And then it goes on to talk about, you know, the air will also be denser at lower temperatures, and this will increase the drag on the Fisker Ocean. And this applies to all cars in the cold weather. Most people are not aware of this because, you know, that they don't pay much attention to it. If you're driving a gas car, you start it up, it sits there and idles for 5 or 10 minutes, so it's warm when you get in it. So these are things that you just have to be aware of for EVs and just regular cars in general. Here Fisker tries to give an example, and I'm just going to read most of it. It says, imagine a steady 70 mile per hour motorway drive at freezing temperatures compared with the same journey conducted at 60 miles per hour on a typically warm day. The driver might see a 33% range deduction. And I think for most EV owners, this would be very surprising. They go on to say this comprises a reduction of 9% due to the increased speed, 6% due to increased air density, and 10% due to reduced battery capacity in cold weather, and 8% due to higher heating demand for the cabin. And another thing that they left out there is just simply rolling resistance. Tires are going to have more rolling resistance against them, working against the efficiency of the car in colder temperatures. So as new EV drivers, I think this is very valuable information. So the next couple slides that Fisker does is just summarizing these observations for quick tips. And the tips apply to, everything, but specifically this is for cold weather tips. So before I do the tips, I want to get back to the testing and what Fisker talks about here. They say in many cases the actual driving done by users is different from these legislative tests. Now this was talking about the WLTP and the EPA. It says the more the driver increases speed and the more the driver accelerates fast, the lower the range. Other differences from the standardized test will also have an impact on achievable range. Factors as driving up or down a hill, tire inflation pressure, driving style, as it pays to be smooth and minimize speed fluctuations, these all have an impact. At lower speeds, this real-world range reduction may be lower or even completely disappear. So I think Fisker does a pretty good job there trying to explain that there are just, differences in driving styles. I'm kind of an easy driver to begin with, and I've always really paid close attention to my own efficiency, so this was very natural for me. And now Fisker gives us some good bullet points, and there's just one that I actually disagree with one of them, but I will explain that in greater detail on another video. But they say to drive smoothly, read the traffic ahead, and try to minimize braking and acceleration. It's great advice. Do not use excessive speed. A small increase in speed can have a big impact on range. I plan on doing a video over that. Consider the tire pressure. Just make sure that they're where they should be. If my memory's right, it's 49 for the rear and 45 for the front. I believe I would have to double check to make absolutely sure. Use maximum regenerative braking for optimal efficiency. That's actually the one that I disagree with. I actually disagree with Fisker there. Now, I competed in the Fisker Max Range Challenge, and I do plan on doing a video over that. I just disagree with Fisker there, and I'll explain my reasons why in an upcoming video. And they say in cold weather, where possible, use heated seats and steering wheel in preference to high cabin temperature to maintain comfort. The battery should be warm for optimal capacity, and this is as simple as, keeping it plugged in overnight. And then since the cost of maintaining the cabin temperature can be significant, it makes sense to bring the temperature to a comfortable level before beginning the trip while your vehicle remains connected to your charger. And those are some great tips. And just another thing that you can do to minimize cabin heating, which is actually a pretty big draw on the battery, is, you could use the heated steering wheel, you could use the heated seats. As a matter of fact, you could probably even, use an electric blanket if you wanted to, really try to push it that far and be that extreme about it. But these are some good tips. Now, the one I want to come back to that I disagree with is the regenerative braking, using the maximum setting there. I do think that's going to have its place in the snow for slowing you down, not using the brakes. But as far as being the best for efficiency, I disagree with that. And so on an upcoming video, I think I will explain my reasons why in great detail over that particular bullet. But these are great summaries, if you will. I think Fisker's done a great job here giving, tips, because a lot of people, seems like Fisker's base, the early subscribers, early adopters, are not well versed with electric vehicles to begin with. And I know this because I spend a lot of time on Stock Twits, and I answer a lot of questions, and I try to be as helpful as I can because, it's just new. It's just different. So people know what they know, so it's always good to be helpful there. So I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you can maximize your range, particularly in the cold temperatures, which is what this video is about. And I do appreciate you watching my videos till the end here. And until next time, thanks a lot.